the reading and explanation of Part 2.
In the previous part, we read that the narrator accepted his friend's proposal to go for a bicycle ride. Narrator's friend started examining his bicycle as he came. His friend declared that the front wheel was unsteady and unscrewed the machine. So now let's see what happened in the second part. He then said that while he was about it, he would see the chain for me, and at once began taking off the gear case. Taking off means separating. I did try to dissuade him from that. Dissuade means to stop him. I told him what an experienced friend of mine once said to me solemnly. Solemnly means in a serious tone. If anything goes wrong with your gear case, sell the machine and buy a new one. It comes cheaper. He said, people talk like that who understand nothing about machines. Nothing is easier than taking off a gear case. I had to confess he was right. Confess means admit. In less than 5 minutes, he had the gear case in 2 pieces, laying on the path, and was groveling for screws. Groveling means searching. He said it was always a mystery to him the way screws disappeared. We read in the first part that narrator's friend took off the front wheel of the bicycle. Next, the friend handled the chain. He took off the gear case. He claimed to know all about a bicycle. He removed the gear case but lost the screws. Common sense continued to whisper to me. Whisper means speaking in low voice. Stop him before he does any more mischief. Mischief means harm. You have a right to protect your own property from the ravages of a lunatic. Ravages means damages, and lunatic means a madman. Take him by the scruff of the neck and kick him out of the gate. But I am weak when it comes to hurting other people's feelings, and I let him muddle on. Muddle on means play badly with or mix up things. He gave up looking for the rest of the screws. Gave up means left. He said screws had a knack of turning up when you least expected them. Knack means habit and turning up means found out. And that now he would see to the chain. He tightened it till it would not move. Next he loosened it until it was twice as loose as it was before. Then he said we had better think about getting the front wheel back into its place again. So it's quite humorous. Narrator was feeling too weak to check the friend from doing further mischief. The friend went ahead. He tightened the chain till it would not move. Then he made it very loose. He finally decided to fix the front wheel in the place. I held the fork open. Fork means a tool. And he worried with the wheel. At the end of 10 minutes, I suggested he should hold the fork and that I should handle the wheel. And we changed places. At length, we did get the thing into position. And the moment it was in position, he burst out laughing. I said, "What's the joke?" He said, "Well, I am an ass." Ass means donkey. It was the first thing he had said that made me respect him. I asked him what had led him to the discovery, means how he found out that. He said, "We have forgotten the balls." The narrator then changed places with him and put the wheel in tight position. He laughed and admitted that he was so stupid because he had forgotten to put the balls in place. I looked for my hat. It was lying topsy-turvy in the middle of the path. Topsy-turvy means upside down. He was of a cheerful disposition. Disposition means nature. He said, "Well, we must put back all we can find and trust to Providence." Providence means God's will. We found 11. We fixed 6 on one side and 5 on the other. And half an hour later, the wheel was in its place again. It need hardly be added that it really did wobble now. A child might have noticed it. He said it would do for the present. The narrator looked for his hat in which he had put the balls safely, but the hat lay unturned and the balls were scattered. They could find only 11. They fixed 6 on the one side and 5 on the other. And half an hour later the wheel was put in its place again, but it wobbled even then. I said, watching you do this is of real use to me. It is not only your skill that fascinates me, it is your cheery confidence in yourself, your inexplicable hopefulness that does me good. Fascinates means attract, and inexplicable means that cannot be explained. So, children, the narrator was not actually appreciating his friend, he was taunting or mocking him. Let's see what happened next in the story. Thus encouraged, he set to work to refix the gear case. He stood the bicycle against the house and worked from the off side. Off side means right side. Then he stood it against a tree and worked from the on side. On side means left side. Then I held it for him while he lay on the ground with his head between the wheels and worked at it from below and dropped oil upon himself. Then he took it away from me and doubled himself across it till he lost his balance and slid over onto his head. Slid over means slipped. So, children, as I told you that the narrator was not so much impressed by his friend's skill of repairing the bicycle but by his confidence in himself. But his friend misunderstood him and he got encouraged. He then set to refix the gearbox. He put the bicycle in different places and positions for the job. He lost his balance and hurt himself on the head. Then he lost his temper, means he got angry and tried bullying the thing. Bullying means hurting the bicycle. I was glad to see, showed spirit. Spirit means courage. And the subsequent proceedings means next events degenerated into little else than a rough and tumble fight between him and the machine. Degenerated means grew worse or were reduced to. One moment the bicycle would be on the gravel path. Gravel means with small stones, and he on top of it. The next, the position would be reversed. He on the gravel path, the bicycle on him. Now he would be standing flushed with victory. Flushed means red. The bicycle firmly fixed between his legs. But his triumph would be short lived. Triumph means victory. By a sudden quick movement, it would free itself and turning upon him, hit him sharply over the head with one of its handles. So, when the bicycle hurt him on the head, he lost his temper and tried to finish the bicycle. It was a sort of fight between man and a machine. The tough bicycle showed spirit. It freed itself from his hold and hit him over the head with its handle. At a quarter to one, dirty and dishevelled, cut and bleeding, he said, I think that will do, and rose and wiped his brow. Dishevelled means disordered. The bicycle looked as if it also had had enough of it, which had received most punishment it would have been difficult to say. I took him into the back kitchen where, so far as was possible, he cleaned himself. Then I sent him home. At quarter to one, the man thought that the work was done. He himself was dirty and bleeding. He cleaned himself, and the narrator then sent him home. It was difficult to decide who had suffered more, the friend or the bicycle.
So that's all about the reading and explanation of this chapter. In the next session, we will discuss the question answers and book exercise of the same chapter. Till then, bye bye.